O Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. O Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. Quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. O Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, clear like Dharma Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, perfect Sambhoga Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassionate Nirmana Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, the actuality of the fourth Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We, all Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, clear like Dharma Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, perfect Sambhoga Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassionate Nirmana Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, the actuality of the fourth Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. All Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in you, precious Guru Buddha. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, clear like Dharma Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, perfect Sambhoga Kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, compassion and nirmanakaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. We take refuge in you, Guru, the actuality of the fourth kaya. We supplicate you, Dharma, Lord Buddha, protector of wandering beings. May all mothers, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness. The causes of happiness, may they be liberated from suffering, and the causes of suffering, may they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from their happiness. Free from sorrow, may they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. In the state of emptiness, the non-referential nature of all phenomena, on the seat of lotus, sun, moon, and corpse, one's mind as a brilliant red bum turns into Vajrayogini, red complexion, radiating with empty bliss. Wrathful in demeanor, with three eyes gazing towards the sky, right hand with a khatri, left holding a blood-filled kapala. Her mouth is slightly open, tongue curled back and making the sound pim, and protruding from the right of her face is face of a black sow. She is in the form of a 16-year-old with breasts swelling with bliss and adorned with the 5 bone ornaments and wearing garlands of flowers and heads. Joyfully her right hand holds aloft a Vajrakatri pointing towards the sky, and her left holds a blood-filled kapala directly in front of her navel center. And held under her arm is glorious Heruka in the form of a Katanga, dancing with her left leg standing upright and right bent, arisen within swelling red lights of empty bliss. Then above her head, in an expanse of 5-colored rainbow lights, on a jeweled throne supported by lions, elephants, horses, peacocks, and garudas, in the center of a lotus free from the faults of samsara, and the sun and moon that eliminate the sufferings, cold and heat, the exalted mind of sovereign Vajradhara with the 7 attributes, the totality of the exalted speech of the dharma of emptiness, of the perfection of wisdom, the exalted body of the perfect Buddhas possessing the 10 powers, is Jigt and Sumgan, embodiment of the 3 jewels, Lord of the teachings, victorious, Rinchen Pil, presence of the Dharmakaya, pleasing to those trainable, Sambhogakaya, blazing with the splendor of the major and minor marks, and Nirmanakaya, glowing with reddish red, white red light. Lord of the teachings, wearing the three dharma robes, a sleeveless shirt with the seven noble riches, a meditation hat symbolizing ceaseless empowerment, and a golden skirt of the complete nine vehicles. Right hand subduing the hordes of maras by touching the ground, left in the mudra of the samadhi of immovable meditative equipoise. He sits in the vajra posture, free from the extremes of samsara and nirvana. To his right and left are thrones, and on seats of lotus and moon are Avalokita in person, the Bodhisattva himself. Konchoratna dressed as a bhikshu, holding a crystal mala, a stalk of lotus with his two hands. To the left is Chokidrakpa in the form of a bhikshu with the three rows, Manjushri Saraha in person, holding a vajra and bell and attacks and sword on lotuses. Both of them are wearing the meditation hat symbolizing changelessness. They are like reflections of the one moon dancing on many waters. They are accompanied by the 85 accomplished masters of India and by an ocean of Kagyusitas of Tibet, gathered in the main and intermediate directions like immeasurable clouds. With Jah, the hook of faith draws in the wisdom beings from the expanse, with whom they arrive as the support of joy and kindness. For wandering beings, with Bam they abide as the joy of limitless compassion. With Ho they move with the smiling demeanor, taming and caring for wandering beings. With compassion, please stay here with the light for the sake of wandering beings. I respectfully pay homage with fierce and longing faith of the three types to you, the glorious Guru, Lord of the four kayas. With my body, speech, and mind, I make offerings of all these established things, outer, inner, and other. The one who offers that which is offered and the act of offering are indivisible in essence. This being so, I make this offering of the great single taste, free from elaborations. Grant me the accomplishment of effortlessness. I lay bare the impairments and breakings of the vows of the three vehicles and rejoice in your liberating deeds. Please turn the wheel of dharma in accordance with the capacities of those to be trained, and remain here for as long as samsara has not been emptied. I dedicate the merit accumulated in the three times to the welfare of wandering beings. I supplicate you, the Dharmakaya, great Vajradhara of the sixth family. I supplicate you, the 85 Indian Mahasiddhas. I supplicate you, Tili Prajna Bhadra. I supplicate you, Naro Jnana Siddhi. I supplicate you, Marpa of Lodra, the translator. I supplicate you, Mila Shepa Dorje. I supplicate you, Dao Shonu of Dagpo. I supplicate you, the three Siddhas of Kam. I supplicate you, Dorje Gyalpo of Pagdu. I supplicate you, Jesun Dorje Belda. I supplicate you, Supreme Refuge, Jigten Sumgun. I supplicate you, Dharma Lord Ratnashri. I supplicate you, Kenchen Sutrim Dorje. I supplicate you, Onjen Sonam Dragpa. I supplicate you, Chenga Dragpa Jungne. I supplicate you, Chung O Dorje Dragpa. I supplicate you, Toka Rinchen Senge. I supplicate you, Samche Dragpa Sonam. I supplicate you, Chuni Dorje Rinchen. I supplicate you, Tuku Dorje Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Nirni Chuki Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Shenyan Dondru Gyalpo. I supplicate you, Rinchen Belgi Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Chogyal Rinchen Belzang. I supplicate you, Choki Gyatson. I supplicate you, Gyawang Kunga Rinchen. I supplicate you, Jason Rinchen Punso. I supplicate you, Rinchen Nambar Gyawa. I supplicate you, Penchen Pelgi Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Chokle Nambar Gyawa. I supplicate you, Tsungme Chogyal Punso. I supplicate you, Drupchen Dashi Punso. I supplicate you, Jason Gonjo Renjin. I supplicate you, Rixin Choki Dragpa. I supplicate you, Gonjo Trinle Namgyao. I supplicate you, Gonjo Trinle Sangpo. I supplicate you, Trinle Dondrum Chogyam. I supplicate you, Kunjo Tenzin Rudu. I supplicate you, Tenzin Chuki Niman. I supplicate you, Kyabda Peme Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Jamyan Chuki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Duwang Chuki Gyaltsen. I supplicate you, Rinchen Dempe Zegin. I supplicate you, Gyawang Tuje Nima. I supplicate you, Rixin Nuden Dorjem. I supplicate you, Jason Joki Lodro. I supplicate you, Gyaucho Shive Lodro. I supplicate you, Jason Dharma Kara. I supplicate you, Tripsap Tenzin Tubten. I supplicate you, the dark Pokaju, protectors of wandering beings. I supplicate you, my kind ruined Guru. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the rarity of the freedoms and endowments. I still squander away my life. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on impermanence and death. I still fixate on composite phenomena as permanent. To look upon me from afar with eyes of shame. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the unmistaken nature of cause and effect, I still pervert what to adopt and what to abandon. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on the sufferings of cyclic existence, I still take the way to the lower realms. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I safeguard the vows of individual liberation. I still lack renunciation and the determination to be free. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. Reckless and mundane, although I meditate on all wandering beings as my parents, I still have bias attachment to friends and aversion for enemies. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate loving kindness and compassion, I still hold on to envy and enmity. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate aspiration and action, bodhicitta. I still focus only on my own welfare. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my body as the deity's exalted form, I still cling to ordinary perception. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I have counted the mantras to be recited, I still waste away my life force. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate the samadhi of moon in the water, I still solidify things as real and substantial. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I conclude by dissolving in the subsequent stage, I still purify and confess superficially. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on my own mind as free from elaborations, I still have conceptual attitudes. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I cultivate not grasping at whatever arises, I still affix an artificial watchfulness. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on resting freely in the natural state, I still amplify artificialities. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, although I meditate on unity beyond conceptions, I still get carried away by the masses of likes and dislikes. Look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion, reckless and mundane, I supplicate you who are my refuge and protector in this and all other lives. Physician who removes the chronic diseases of samsara, hero who vanquishes the enemies that are afflictive emotions, sun which dispels the darkness of ignorance, moon that protects from the heat of suffering, jewel which fulfills all our needs and desires. You, Guru, who are all-inclusive and all-sufficient, I supplicate you from the depths of my heart. With compassion, swiftly heed me, effortlessly bestow your blessings. Grant me now and on this seat the naturally accomplished feast of the two benefits. I am endowed with both merit and devotion. Do not leave my hopes unfulfilled. Don't cast away my devotion in vain. Don't let my supplications vanish unanswered. Don't be indifferent with your compassion, refuge and protector in this life, in the intermediate state and beyond. Whatever occurs, joy or sorrow, good or bad, only you are my hope. Look upon me with eyes of compassion. You alone are my hope. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwan Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dharma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dhamma Kirti. I supplicate you, supreme refuge, Jigten Sumgon. I supplicate you, compassionate Garwang Konchorana. I supplicate you, gentle protector, Gyutrun Dharma Kirti. From this life onward until awakening is reached, other than the three of you, you victors, fathers and sons, I have no other hope. Don't lose your compassion and give up on me. As there are none like you, kings, you victors, fathers and sons, you are all that I need, my only hope and reliance. I supplicate you with fierce and strong devotion. From the utmost depths of my heart, without delay or indifference, look upon me with your eyes of primordial wisdom. After this life, while I am in the intermediate state, draw me out with your hook of primordial wisdom and compassion. And now you can just listen as I read the next section. Master of the teachings of this realm, victorious Jigten Sumgon, achieved great awakening one evening, and then on the next dawn went before the presence of protector Pamodrupa in the immaculate Abhirati Buddha realm in the east. Furthermore, through the immeasurable magical manifestations of his pristine primordial wisdom, he also manifested in the Srimad realm in the south, Sukhavati in the west, Karma Prasiddhi in the north, Akanishta Dharmadhatu pure realm in the center, and also in northern Alakavati and in other realms. He sent forth an emanation in each of the many billions of pure realms of the three Kayas. In each of these pure realms, he requested the expounding of the Dharma, thus becoming one with the exalted minds of all the countless victors. Presently, Jigten Sumgon resides in the Buddha realm in the east known as the Great All-Pervading. Its entire ground is made of refined gold. In the middle of this realm, on a great lion's throne ornamented with various jewels, on the peak of a diadem with precious stones that have the splendor of the essence of rubies in his supreme indestructible exalted body, in the form of a fully ordained bhikshu, white complexion, dignified and smiling, his body is resplendently radiant with his palm in the gesture of blessing us all. He is teaching to an assembly of many hundreds of thousands of attendant bhikshus the dharma of the various vehicles. When he says to his assembly of retinue there, right now, if any of my followers in Jambudvipa, who at the time of their death keeps me in their minds, they will be reborn here in the time it takes a strong person to throw a punch. Immediately, such a disciple appears before him. Blazing with splendor, he touches the crowns of such disciples with his golden-colored right hand, confirming their possession of utter virtues. Delighted with them, he says, "Welcome, my children." Then in the Nirmanakaya pure realm is the great regent of the teachings, king of the victors, Gonjo Rinchen, who because of his great generation of Bodhi mind in the past has actualized himself as Lord of the three Kayas. In the presence of Amitabha Buddha, in the supreme western pure realm of Sukhavati, he is renowned as Arya Avalokita. With wisdom's great magical display, he manifested as the preceptor Shantarakshita and others. He appeared under many different names, but in actuality, he is the manifestation of the exalted activities of the victorious Amitabha himself. By merely hearing his name, one can be reborn in Sukhavati. This he has promised without a doubt. The all-pervading Dharmakirti, who possesses the 10 powers, the wisdom and compassion of all Buddhas, is known in the southern realm of Viraja Vishuddhakutta with the name Victorious All-Seeing. He manifests inconceivably throughout the universe. Just by hearing his name, the darkness of ignorance is utterly cleared and the pure appearance of wisdom shines in all directions, revealing the Dharma. By seeing, hearing, or remembering him, all wandering beings will be guaranteed great awakening and will ultimately attain the level of nirvana. At a future time, in the pure realm of the eastern direction, known as Abhirati, he will realize the essence of Bodhi with the name Immense Expanse, a victor, Tathagata, refuge, and protector of gods and humans. Through the pure, perfect exalted activities emanating from his awakening in billionfold universes, he will benefit many. So as I mentioned before, even these descriptions we should consider as on the relative level. This is where Jigten Sumgen is. This is where Koncho Ratna, also known as Koncho Rinchen. Ratna and Rinchen. Ratna is Sanskrit, Rinchen is Tibetan. Koncho Rinchen. And Dharmakirti, Choki Drakpa. On the relative realm, they are manifesting, in all these places. Particularly, right, I've mentioned that when Kyopa Jigten Sumgen was asked, as he was showing signs of passing away in the 13th century in Tibet, his close disciples asked him to tell them where he is going to take rebirth and how they can, access him, how they can find him, how they can be reunited with him. And at that point, Kyopa Jigten Sumgen says, in fact, there's no coming or going for him. And in fact, he has actualized the two bodhicittas so that wherever the two bodhicittas are practiced, right there is Kyopa Jigten Sumgen. So that's that kind of statement we should understand as the ultimate, speaking from the perspective of the ultimate. Speaking from the perspective of the ultimate, the Guru is the two bodhicittas. Speaking on the relative side of things, the Guru is Buddha Shakyamuni, the Guru is Kyopa Jigten Sumgen. And then even on more relative side, you have a number of human gurus that you check in with, that you learn from, that you're inspired by, so on and so forth. But never to forget, the ultimate guru is the two bodhicittas, Gyobajikten Sumgen, is the embodiment of the two bodhicittas. Thus are these three victors, fathers and sons, the gathering and embodiment of the ocean of Kagyu gurus and siddhas and all idams, dakinis and dharmapalas, with wisdom, knowledge, loving compassion, exalted activities, and protective powers. By your blessings, bless me and all sentient beings so that our minds turn to the dharma. Bless us so that the dharma turns into the dharma. Bless us so that the dharma enters the path. Bless us so that the path clears confusion. Bless us so that confusion dawns as wisdom. This particular prayer here is known as the Four Dharmas of Gampopa. Some of you may recognize this. But if you count here, you'll end up with 5. So that our minds turn to the Dharma, so that Dharma turns into the Dharma, so that the Dharma enters the path, so that the path clears confusion, so that confusion dawns as wisdom. Bless us so that this happens. So you end up with 5. The reason why it's 5 is the first 2, our minds turn to the Dharma. Dharma turns into the Dharma. Why? These two are variant readings, variant. They are variants. In the earliest form of the Four Dharmas of Gampopa we have, the wording is actually Dharma turning into the Dharma. Then, in later versions of the Four Dharmas of Gampopa, probably having gone through the editorial hands of some later editor, they decided that it will sound better. Without losing the meaning, they feel it will sound better to say, mind turn to the Dharma, as the first line. And that version has become the version that is most recognized today, that later version. So in various places, if you search Four Dharmas of Gampopa, you will see the version that says, may the mind turn to the Dharma, may the Dharma become the path or enters the path, may the path clear confusion, and may confusion dawn as wisdom. And that's the common version that you will find, which is actually a later form. The earliest form has it as, may the Dharma turn into the Dharma, may the Dharma enter the path, and the path clears confusion, and confusion dawns as wisdom. Here, the author of this text decided to put both in there. So then it becomes 5 dharmas. Doesn't matter. You can consider the first 2 lines as 2 sides of the same first line. So I think it's very nice actually to have both there. Because first is speaking of, may my mind turn to the Dharma. Okay? After my mind has turned to the Dharma, oftentimes that dharma that the mind has turned to don't remain as dharma. It becomes something else. We all can remember, when we initially turned to the dharma, probably the initial turning was very meaningful, was very inspiring. And then as we get immersed in more dharma activities, in more dharma centers, in more dharma cyberspace, that dharma turns into something else. And so the second line, bless us so that the dharma turns into the dharma. So it's saying, let the dharma that my mind has turned to become more and more refined, more and more clear, and remain, the dharma, and not turn into something else. Turn into something else means, turn into part of your identity, turn into, a topic that you master, turn into something you're proud about, turn into, something that you use to avoid suffering, in the negative way, avoid suffering, meaning instead of solving the problem of suffering, you just use the dharma as they say, as a band-aid, and not actually use the dharma as medicine. Worse, you have some ability with the dharma, then you are selling dharma, then dharma becomes a commodity. That's even worse. Or you use dharma as a point of afflicted pride. I know so much compared to these people who don't know anything. And so, bless us so that the dharma turns into the dharma. This is also speaking to how, so in another scenario, at the beginning when you first got attracted to the dharma, maybe you even got attracted to the wrong thing. So now, may this dharma turn into the actual dharma. So often I've said, when people come to me and say, oh, I like the dharma so much, I like the dharma so much, I said, why? I said, because, it's answered all my questions, I said, okay, that's good. Now, next step, let the dharma, change your questions. Yeah? The dharma should not only answer all your questions, because some of these questions are wrong questions. So the dharma should change the questions that you're asking. And so bless us so that the dharma turns into the dharma, is refined into the dharma. And so later, we're going through the sadhana. I'm just pointing out certain parts. Later we will look more at the Four Dharmas of Gampopa. Then of course, Khenchen Koncho Gyaltsen Rinpoche has given quite a few programs on the Four Dharmas of Gampopa. They're available on Rinpoche's YouTube channel, as well as some very devoted disciples in Sweden has compiled all these teachings and turned it into a book, and that book is being distributed by Vajra Publications. So if you go to Vajra Publications website, there is a Vajra publication in Nepal, not that one. The Vajra publications that's based in the US, they're unrelated. So if you go to the Vajra publications in the US, go to the website, you can request that book I think they asked for only like shipping or something like that, because it was also printed for distribution. So there are, many books other than Kenjan Rinpoche. Other people have also, other great lamas have also given teachings, and these teachings again have been turned into booklets and transcribed and made available. Yeah. So Renee just shared that link, the budget publications link, in the Zoom chat area. Now page 42, continuing with the sadhana. Bless us so that all our karmic and afflictive obscurations and our cognitive obscurations and habitual obscurations are cleared now. Bless us so that they are cleared on this seat. Bless us so that they are cleared in this session. Bless us so that our mind streams are cleansed. Bless us so that our mind streams are fully liberated. Bless us so that we are liberated now. Bless us so that we are liberated on this seat. Bless us so that we are liberated in this session. Bless us so that the supreme samadhi arises unmistakably in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Bless us so that the unmistaken supreme primordial wisdom arises in our mind streams. Bless us so that it arises now. Bless us so that it arises on this seat. Bless us so that it arises in this session. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your forehead center, white light emanate, dissolving into my forehead, immediately fully cleansing my body and my waking state of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Nirmana Kaya, the exalted body Vajra. The Guru's exalted body and my body are inseparable. This is the indestructible appearances, emptiness, Kaya Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your throat center, red lights emanate, dissolving into my throat, immediately fully cleansing my speech and my dream state of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Sambhoga Kaya, the exalted speech Vajra. The Guru's exalted speech and my speech are inseparable. This is the indestructible sound, emptiness, Vaka Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your heart center blue lights emanate, dissolving into my heart, immediately fully cleansing my mind and my deep slate of their obscurations, and planting the seed for the Dharmakaya, the exalted heart Vajra. The Guru's exalted heart and my mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible clarity, emptiness, Citta Siddhi. Hear, O sublime, glorious Guru, from your navel center golden lights emanate, dissolving into my navel, immediately fully cleansing my equipoised mind and the moment of their transition of their obscurations. Having ripened the Swabhavika Kaya, the three primordial wisdom Vajras, and my body, speech, and mind are inseparable. This is the indestructible bliss, emptiness, Sarva Siddhi. Here the retinue dissolves like breath on a mirror disappearing. The glorious Guru's exalted body dissolves and furthermore turns into beautiful masses of 5-colored lights, resplendent like 100,000 suns. These lights dissolve into oneself. Immediately you are blazing in various colors of light. Bright lights and rainbows fill the 3,000-fold universes. This is the indivisible unity of clarity and emptiness, just as it is. Primordially free from elaborations, the great middle way, seal and perfection. Don't be confused by the names, their meanings are identical. The indivisible unity of primordial wisdom. Evam Maya Alala Ho. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. So yesterday, we got to around page 11. This is the part of the Jah Hung Bam Hoh. These 4 syllables, Jah Hung Bam Hoh, you see them in many sadhanas because they are the 4 syllables used for sometimes you'll come across these words hook, and then lasso, then chains or shackles, and bell. So Jah Hung Bam Hoh are the 4 syllables, for the sometimes also described as for the 4 dakinis, that are the 4 door guardians of the mandala, of any Buddha mandala. They are said to be the 4 dakinis that guard the 4 doors. So Jah Hung Bam Hoh. These 4 dakinis, in particular, they are said to be the manifestations or embodiments of the 4 immeasurable minds. So the hook is the hook of loving kindness. The rope or the lasso, basically what you like, like taming a wild horse, you lasso the horse in. That's the rope. That's the rope of compassion. Then the shackle, the chains of joy. And then the bell of equanimity. Here in this sadhana, they don't directly link the Jah Hung Bam Hoh with the 4 immeasurables. So it's not so directly linked. But generally, when you see Jah Hung Bam Hoh, you should understand that these are actually the four immeasurables manifesting as the four dakinis. These dakinis in various different tantras, these four door guarding dakinis are described as having animal heads, like bird in particular, different bird heads. So I don't remember the details. And so they're kind of very nice, kind of interesting looking. But when they are painted and depicted, then the first one, holds a hook. Second one holds a lasso. Third holds chains. And the fourth holds bell. So then the idea here is hooking in. So to catch, like to catch with a hook, you hook them. Then with the rope, you pull them in. Then with the shackles, the chain, you chain the two together. And so the first two, no reference to the second thing. It's only a reference to what is being brought in. But here in the context of the union of the Samaya Sattva and the Jnana Sattva, then what is being hooked in are the Jnana Sattvas. What has been pulled with the rope in is the Jnana Sattvas, the primordial wisdom beings, the Jnana Sattvas. Then the third, right, the chain, that is when you chain them together. What are you chaining together? You're chaining together the Jnana Sattvas with the Samaya Sattvas. In this case, the Samaya Sattva is the Vajavarahi that you have imagined or visualized yourself as, and the field of Guru in the space in front. So they are chained together. Then bell, what is the function of the bell? That one is less obvious. But it is said that when the fourth dakini rings the bell, then it renders, everyone incapable of fighting back, incapable of resisting, so that they completely kind of faint into each other. So that then they mix inseparably. So you can see how linking it with the four immeasurables works very nicely. When you hook in with loving kindness. When you catch, you have to catch with loving kindness. When you pull in, you have to pull in with compassion. And then when you chain these two together, it has to be the chain of joy. Only when people joyfully regard each other, can they be brought together. Then the bell, equanimity. Equanimity means no difference between self and other. Then becoming one. So then Jah Hung Bam Hoh has that function. Now, the broader ritual idiom of this Jah Hung Bam Hoh comes from, I believe, indigenous folk religion, shamanic, magical ritual in ancient India. In the original ritual idiom that this is alluding to, such techniques are used in a more coercive way, like in the work of a magician. So you use these techniques in that context to force something to come and to bind them so that you can control them. Yeah, that was the broader reference. Yeah. So in Vajrayana, you often find material that were taken from folk religion, magical traditions of ancient India. Yeah. Some of these trace back even to the Veda. Vedas are divided into 4 principal Vedas. One of the categories contain a lot of these what we now call magical interventions and devices. But try to think of magical interventions and devices as basically technology of ancient times. Yeah, whether they were effective or not, hard to say. Who knows? But at least psychologically, it provided people with some kind of confidence, reassurance that things are under control. Yeah, so here is an instance, of borrowing this ritual idiom of bringing something here and kind of almost forcing something here and making them stay together. So it might speak to actually how right now, as much as we believe, or we like to believe, I am Buddha, primordially, but it's sort of like hard to believe. So we have to use Jah Hung Bam Hoh, to coerce, to force, and to force, to catch with the hook, to, pull in with the lasso, to shackle with chains, and to render immovable and losing consciousness by ringing the bell, the magical bell that renders them, renders our stubborn ego unconscious, so that the wisdom beings can take possession of us. So there's partly here is what this is saying, that we have to be rendered powerless and let the wisdom beings take over. So here, after Jah Hung Bam Hoh, this next line, with compassion, stay here with delight for the sake of wandering beings. So saying to the wisdom beings, don't disappear. Don't disappear on us, Stay here for the benefit of beings. Next section on page 12 to the top of page 13. This is basically the sevenfold puja. And the sevenfold puja has 7 elements in it. The first one is paying homage with body, speech, and mind. Then making extensive offerings. Then confessing, our wrongdoings. Revealing them, no longer hiding them. That's the meaning of confessing. Confession is not a practice to shame yourself or, it's in fact, it's not even like asking for apologies. That's a more theistic sense, asking for apologies. Here it's coming face to face with our own confused, our own confusion, the confused choices that we have made. It's like coming to terms, with our own confusion. Is what the main point of Buddhist confession. Coming to terms with our own confusion. In the theistic traditions, confession has more to do with, I think, has more to do with, at least on the surface, I'm sure there are deeper levels of confession practice in theistic traditions. But in theistic traditions, more on the surface is the idea of you have caused offense. You have offended the all-loving and the all-powerful. And so to confess then is to ask for forgiveness, to repair that damage that you have done by causing that offense. Here, of course, that notion of offense is somewhat there, somewhere there, but it's not the main emphasis. The main emphasis is coming to terms with yourself about the confused ways that you have chosen and continue to choose. And as long as we continue choosing those confused choices, unskillful choices, then what to expect, right? The result is just suffering, you know? So that's the third, yeah? Lest, to prevent, in a way you could say, you from getting depressed and going too far in, you know, this confession business, where you come to terms with, you know, how confused you have been and how unskillful you have acted. The next one is called rejoicing. So this is rejoicing in the virtue and the good of others and yourself too. So that's the other side. It's not just about, oh, I'm bad, or I'm foolish, or I'm confused, but also to recognize that there is good. There has been good choices made. There has been good decisions made. And there has been good actions of body, speech, and mind. Not just myself, but others. And we take joy in that, so that we don't become discouraged by the last point, the confession point. So we rejoice. This is the fourth. Then the fifth is to request the Buddhas to turn the wheel of dharma. The sixth is to request them to remain here and not, you know, kind of leave us in this mess. And then the seventh is to dedicate merit. So these are the 7 elements. The most famous version of this, 7 elements, the wordings and all of that, is from the aspirations of the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, called the King of Aspiration Prayers. There it has 12 verses, the opening 12 verses of the King of Aspiration Prayers, the Noble Conduct of Samantabhadra. That's the most famous version. Most Tibetans have, especially monks and nuns, but not exclusively. Certainly also a lot of lay people have in fact memorized that version. It's used so often and so commonly as a way to cover all the bases. Whenever you do practice, they would recite that. So here, the author of this sadhana has composed a differently worded version, but the content would be the same. So anyway, here it says, you know, I respectfully pay homage with fierce and longing faith of the 3 types. So this is called the 3 types of faith. So this faith here the words used here, faith, is actually different from the word that we translate as devotion. It's depa is translated as faith, and mogu is translated as devotion. And so there's slight difference, or meaningful difference. Faith is a more preliminary sentiment. Then mogu, devotion, is a big topic, especially in the Gampopa context. Yeah. Anyway, the faith, fierce and longing faith of three types, is referring to what's translated as longing faith, clear faith, and trusting faith. Longing faith, clear faith, and trusting faith. So what is longing faith? Longing faith is the result of, or what are you longing there? You're longing to be free from cyclic existence. You understand the defects of confused existence of our current situation, and you long to be free from it. Clear faith is having in our minds, in our hearts, very clearly the good qualities of the three jewels. Being attracted to, being inspired by the qualities of the three jewels. Then trusting faith. Here, in particular, what are we trusting? We have to trust the unmistaken working of cause and effect. So when we pay respect, which is the first, right, the first of the seven, when we pay respect, when we pay homage, we need to have these three types of faith. We need to long to be free from cyclic existence. We need to be clear about the qualities of the objects of refuge. And finally, we need to trust cause and effect. To the degree that we have these three, and we have these three strongly, then our paying homage, paying homage to here, the glorious Guru, Lord of the four kayas, with our body, speech, and to the glorious Guru, the Lord of the four kayas, then becomes meaningful. It can actually become something. Otherwise, we might look like we're paying homage, doing all of this and going through all the motions, right? But we don't have trusting in cause and effect. Or we don't know the qualities of the three jewels. Why we need to know the qualities of the three jewels? Because those are the qualities that we're working on, right? Ourselves, to embody those qualities, to let those qualities, be our identity. So if we don't know, in other words, not knowing the quality of the glorious Guru, the Lord of the four kayas. So in this context, if we don't know, and therefore we are not inspired by those qualities. Instead, if we just, glorious Guru, Lord of the four kayas, you can make everything bad go away. You can make everything good happen for me. Please do that. And then it's not really paying homage. Or, it seems like we're paying homage, but in fact, we are trying to manipulate the situation. Please, 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 No, nothing bad happens, nothing bad happens. And then we're creating the causes of suffering. How can that work, It cannot work. Second one, second one here. With my body, speech, and mind, I make offerings of these things that are here, that are established. Outer, inner, and other. Other means secret. Outer offerings are the material offerings that we are able to offer, bring together, and put on the shrine. The most common one is the set of offering bowls filled with water and a lamp. That is the main kind of outer offering. Then whatever else, you can gather. Inner offering is the offering of our sense experiences. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and intellect. If we know how to make offerings on that level, then whenever we're having sensory experiences, they can be turned into offerings. So you can see how easy then it will be to accumulate merit if you remember to make offerings with your sense experiences. Secret offering, the other, is referring to offerings of experiences and realizations that you have gained through your dharma practice. That is so that kind of offering is says to be the supreme offering your dharma practice. But all three we should engage in: outer, inner, and secret. Sometimes we are too eager to just say, "Oh, I offer the secret offering," because it seems to be the easiest one. But that's the hardest, actually. The outer is the easiest. But then you're like, I don't know. For a week now, I forgot to fill the water. Or for a week now, I look at it, I walk by, I say, oh no, I don't have time. It happens to all of us, But try to be disciplined about that. If you do nothing else, every day you change the water you offer. Fresh bowls of water. Light a lamp. Turn on the battery light. Then the one who offers, and that which is offered, and the act of offering are indivisible in essence. This being so, I make this offering of the great single taste, free from elaborations. This one is the fourth type of offering, the offering of suchness. This is the offering based on some understanding of those teachings on emptiness, those teachings on interdependence. So the interdependence of an event, of a moment of offering is, there has to be the one who offers, there has to be that which is offered, and there is the act of offering. But here, recognize that these three elements are only temporarily existing entities. Only in that moment where offering is taking place, then you can say, oh, here is the offerer, here is the thing that is being offered, and here is the act of offering. And when you understand that, then you have some kind of understanding of emptiness. This being so, I make this offering of the great single taste, free from elaborations. Grant me the accomplishment of effortlessness. Make it easier and easier for me to engage in all the virtues. Next, I lay bare, I review, I don't hide anymore, all the impairments and breakings of the vows of the three vehicles. So the so-called individual liberation vehicle, the Bodhisattva universal vehicle, and the indestructible Vajra vehicle. So these are also called the three vows, or the three sets of vows. And I rejoice in your liberating deeds, in particular now rejoicing in the Guru's exalted deeds, activities in liberating beings from suffering. Then we say, please turn the wheel of Dharma in accordance with the capacities of those to be trained. So yesterday I talked about how Nirmanakayas are extremely compassionate because it is that aspect of the Buddha state that has the ability to meet sentient beings where they are. So in the Lotus Sutra, for example, in one of the chapters of the Lotus Sutra, it's a chapter focused on, for example, that chapter is focused on the activities, the virtues, the powers, the attainment of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva. And there, in the verse section, it talks about, in both the prose and the verse section, it talks about how Avalokiteshvara would appear in many various different circumstances in order to teach the Dharma to others, including appearing in the form of like butchers, robbers, So that's talking about the Nirmanakayas being able to meet people where they are. Now, footnote. Sometimes these kinds of teachings can be manipulated to fool people, to take advantage of people. And please watch out against things like that. So these kinds of teachings have been manipulated sometimes to facilitate, to excuse very negative behavior. So if particularly, if a teacher behaves in a way that we see and we go, wait, that's causing harm, then, in that community around that teacher, you might have people saying, oh, no, see, the sutras say, Avalokiteshvara can even appear as a butcher. So only to you it looks bad. Actually, he or she is helping people. Watch out for these kinds of explanations, I'm not saying, every time explanation like this turns up, someone is up to no good. But don't be too willing to recruit these kinds of answers or examples. They'll say, oh, this is the Guru's skillful means, If it is really skillful, then it's scandal-free. That's a good, rule to follow. Because it's really skillful. It says that skillful means, compassionate, skillful means is as challenging to achieve, to accomplish, as two arrows meeting in mid-air. The tips of two arrows, one shot from here, one shot from there, actually meeting in mid-air. So not so easy, skillful means. Doesn't occur, left, right, up, down. So coming back to, please turn the wheel of Dharma in accordance with the capacities of those to be trained. So again, nirmanakayas will manifest to meet people where they are. Sort of like the way in the New Testament, when Jesus was criticized for hanging out with the wrong crowd. And, he said, I didn't come to save, I didn't come to help the righteous, I came to help, the sinners. So, then the next, and remain here for as long as samsara has not been emptied. So that's the sixth. Then the seventh, I dedicate the merit accumulated in past, present, and future, the 3 times, to the welfare, to the good of wandering beings. For the good of wandering beings. Yeah, so we will end here today with a brief bodhicitta dedication. Chanchu semcho rinpoche ma ge ba nam ge gyöje ge ba nyam pa me ba yang gong ne gong du bell word show. Ta-ta, everyone.
Gracias, Dr. Lai.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Lai.
Thank you, Dr. Lai.
Gracias.